Welcome to NAGLREP Success, a podcast series featuring the talents of LGBT real estate agents and allies who inspire the LGBT community. I'm your host, David Cerroti. Today we will welcome in one of the real estate industry's most interesting men. He's been in the business since 1974 in all different ways. Please welcome from Austin, Texas, Garry Wise.
Well, thank you so much for having me here. It is an honor and a privilege to be joining you today. And I have to clarify so everybody doesn't think I'm like 80 years old, but I have been in the industry since birth at 74, simply because I was born into the industry.
Well, I was going to ask that question because you clearly are not as old as the 1974 piece would indicate.
No, I am actually a third-generation real estate agent. Both of my grandfathers were in real estate. Both of my parents were in real estate, and now I'm in real estate. And in fact, my son, who is now 22 years old, is sitting for his real estate exam. So we're going to be a four-generation real estate family.
Well, NAR may have to build a statue for you.
I kind of experienced that a little bit, but I also think that it's not as uncommon as people would think, simply because as children grow up in a real estate family, we learn what a wonderful career it is, all the way from the freedom of choice of our own schedules and our own work ethic, all the way to the ability to make a lot of money while all at the same time helping change and form and better the lives of our customers. So, I think when you combine all of that together, it's just a natural fit that when children experience that with their parents or their grandparents or their siblings, it's so enticing to be able to do the same thing.
Well, currently you and your wife are running your own luxury brokerage in Austin and also paperless agent. And the story is quite fascinating how you ended up with a only three-person team on the luxury side and helping hundreds and hundreds of agents each week through paperless agent.
Yeah, it's been a fun journey. Just a little bit of the backstory is I actually got into real estate in 1997, and I'll never forget it because I was living in Colorado. I was a ski patroller, and I got a call at 4:30 in the morning, and no call at 4:30 in the morning is a good call. And what had happened is my dad had died in the middle of the night completely unexpectedly, and so I moved back home to Austin that day. I helped my mom through that traumatic experience. I got my real estate license to help her out in the business, and I've never left. And, come fast forward to a few years ago, Christina and I met in the real estate industry, so that right there shows you how wonderful of a community this is, and fell in love and got married and merged our businesses. And in 2010, we won the Most Innovative Real Estate Brokerage in America award, and because of that and because of our use of technology in creating different experiences for our customers, I got a call one day. This is a really funny story. I got a call. My assistant pinged me in the back office and said, "Hey, Garry, pretty sure this is a prank call, but Pear from Apple is on the phone." And I said, wait, two fruits in one sentence? I'm not sure about that. That doesn't make sense to me. So I picked up the phone completely expecting a prank call from one of my friends. But sure enough, there's a woman in the marketing division at Apple named Pear. I got on the phone and she said, "Hey, we've been watching you." And I'm like, "Well, okay." And she said, "We really like how you're using our mobile technology to innovate and create a brand new experience for real estate customers. Can we fly you and your wife out to Cupertino and shoot a commercial with you?" And so we said, "Hell yeah." So we got on a plane and flew out there, and they enjoyed it so much they said, "You know what? We're going to send our crew back to Austin with you, and they're going to follow you around for 3 days and shoot a business case study on you." And so all of that happened in 2010. And from there, we just started getting phone calls from agents and brokers across North America saying, hey, we love what you're doing. Can we come and sit down with you, have coffee? Can we buy a franchise and all these things? And so my wife, the giver that she is to the community, said, you know what, I'm going to start a webinar series called Coffee with Christina. And so she started inviting all these agents who were calling, well, just join me once a week and I'll share with you everything that we're doing. And then it kind of built and built, and then it got too big to just be that. So then we created the paperless agent. And what that is that the paperless agent is really success training. And what we do is we take everything, all of our knowledge that both Christina and I have accumulated through our 20-year real estate career together, and we culminate it and innovate around the different technologies that we're using. And then what we do is we turn around and we just teach the real estate community everything that we are doing that is working. And we do that through the paperless agent, through traveling nationally to speak at conferences, through our online webinar series, and through our coaching program.
Did you ever set out to be a technology guy? You grew up in a traditional real estate family.
You know, I've always been interested in several things about business. Number one, I'm always interested in innovation and technology and the bleeding edge of what's coming new. I'm always buying the newest computer, the newest iPhone, the newest iPad, because I want to experience what is new, what has changed, and how can I use that to increase efficiencies in my own business, to reduce the sales cycle of working with customers so I can take care of more customers, to produce that wow factor for my customer. Because, man, I'll tell you, when I walk into a listing appointment and all I have is my iPad and I show them the technology that I'm using and I show them how I'm going to take better care of them, and I walk out of my appointment with a signed listing agreement on my iPad, that is a wow factor to the customer, you know, because it's different, it's unique. And anything I can do in my business to create that differentiation, it's going to help me continue to build my business, continue to beat my competition. And, you know, I'll just share with you part of why it's so successful and how the technology pulls in and integrates so well is really about 3 Ps. And this is what I call the old 3 Ps versus the new 3 Ps. So in any business, there are 3 fundamental Ps, and I'll talk to you, those are the second 3 Ps we'll talk about. But in real estate moves so slowly to adopt new technologies and to adapt to changing behaviors in the marketplace that quite often we're a decade behind other companies or other business verticals. And because of that, we still operate under what I call the old 3 Ps. And this is our old traditional value proposition to sellers, because there was no technology 20 years ago. So what could you actually do to help them? Well, you did what everybody did. You put a sign in the yard, you put the home in the MLS, and then you prayed that the house sells. And that is the old 3 Ps. And here's the problem, David, is right now in real estate, most realtors are still operating under those old, antiquated 3 Ps.
Why?
And I believe it is because we can. Right now, in this day and age, listings are tight. The market is tight. There are very few listings on the marketplace. So by just putting the home in the MLS and putting in the sign in the yard, is the house going to sell? Yes, it is, because we have more buyers than we have sellers. But what I challenge is that we're not fulfilling on the fiduciary responsibility that we have to our customers, and that is to expose their home to the greatest number of people, where they are, and how they're behaving. And so that's where we innovated, and we created the new 3Ps, and the new 3Ps are all about packaging the house. So just like Apple packages their products in a beautiful way, well, we need to package the homes in a manner like that. The second is having a pricing strategy conversation. This is not a this is not me telling them what I think their house is worth. It's about a full pricing strategy to get the greatest amount of money. And then promotion. This is where we really have to investigate and abide by marketing principles. And those are the number one thing you give your customer is what they want. And the number one place that you give it to them is where they are. And here's the thing. If we're just putting a sign in the yard and putting the home in the MLS and maybe syndicating to some websites, we're not fulfilling on that fiduciary responsibility. And as a byproduct of that, our customers believe that we all do the same thing. And because of that, we get marginalized, and when we're marginalized, what happens is that we get priced. So think about this, David. If you walk into Office Max and there's a row of pens, and in your interpretation, every single pen is exactly the same and will produce the exact same function and is exactly the same quality, how do you choose which pen to purchase?
Do it by price.
It is price. Those are fundamental market conditions. And so there's no difference in real estate. I mean, if you asked your audience and took a poll, how many of you have been asked to discount your commission in the past 12 months? I would be surprised if you didn't have every single one of them say, me. And it's not that we're not doing different things. It's that our customers don't know that we're doing different things. It's that they don't know that we're taking care of them in a very different way using the new 3Ps. And this is exactly why we as real estate professionals are starting to lose relevance in the marketplace. Our value is being eroded away. We're being asked to discount our commissions. We're being sold our leads back that were our leads to begin with by companies who see there's so much money in this marketplace. And what I don't want to see happen is I don't want us to go the way of so many other industries like travel agents. You have Travelocity, you have Orbitz, you have all of these web Priceline, you have all of these websites doing exactly what a travel agent used to do.
We're going to address that in a second, Gary, on what we can do to stop this disintermediation. But first, let's talk about the 4th annual NAGLREP National LGBT Real Estate Conference. We're coming to Palm Springs October 17th through the 19th. It will be a star-studded affair. Bravo's Madison Hildebrand will share his journey on $1 Million Listing. And also, Congressman Mark Takano has just signed on to keynote. Mark is a representative in California and a member of the Congressional LGBT Equality Caucus. And we will also hear from LGBT icon Cleve Jones, who will speak about his incredible book, When We Rise. We will be entertained by the hilarious Alex Mappa. And, of course, we will learn together from an amazing lineup of other great speakers, including who, Gary?
Well, including me. I'm going to be there. So if you're not signed up to be there yet, you need to be there.
We're expecting more than 700 to attend. It'll be the largest LGBT and allies event in real estate history. And, Gary, you've come for the last couple of years.
You know, so here's the reason that I attend NAGLREP. I attend because, in my interpretation, it is the elite of the elite in real estate as far as quality of speakers, the quality of leadership, the quality of attendees, And I don't mind sharing this with you, is that in all of the conferences I attend, the attendees of this conference are the smartest, kindest, most generous attendees I have ever met.
You speak a lot about the billions of dollars that are just clamoring to eliminate all of us in the real estate industry and take our livelihood.
So, David, let me share with some statistics with you that I think may shed some light on the power of the real estate industry. Number one is in 2016, over 6 million homes were sold in the United States alone. 6 million homes. And the value of those transactions were just over $1.7 trillion, and that's with a T. $1.7 trillion in transactions happened in 2016. So when you start looking at a market that is that big, all of a sudden, everybody wants a piece of that. I mean, it's just, that is attractive to every big company. And I mean, there are enormous organizations in our space right now that are all after a piece of that pie. There are organizations and companies outside of the space that want to penetrate the space and take our money that we have been working to build our entire careers. And what I say is, I don't want that to happen for myself. I don't want that to happen for my wife, for my kids. I don't want that to happen for my coaching clients. And I sure as hell don't want that to happen for anybody in the NAGLREP community. So what I say is, we have to band together and do something to protect our industry, our livelihoods, our passion. Otherwise, it will continue to be eroded away, and the 6% commission is going to be the 5% commission. That is going to become the 4% commission. That's going to become the 3% commission. And I wouldn't be surprised if we do nothing, it's going to be eroded away to a flat fee transaction, and we'll all be broke.
What do we do to stop it? Because it can't be as simple as walk into a listing presentation with your iPad.
It's not. So here's what has to happen. We have to start communicating the difference that we offer to our customers. We have to start delivering a better experience for our customers. We have to start giving them what they want and what they expect and what we promise to them, whether they are explicit promises or implicit promises, meaning they may believe that we are going to deliver on something because they believe that that's what we're supposed to do. And then when we don't do it, well, they get disappointed. And then all of a sudden, the next time it's time to transact, are they calling the realtor? Or are they going online? And then are they finding the value online? Here's a sad state of affairs. In 1996 and 1997, we were still using MLS books, not online because there were no databases online for us to pull from. We were using MLS books. And when we were using MLS books, the value proposition that we as realtors gave to customers was that we had the information. We had the data. We had everything about all of the homes on the market, under contract, or sold. And the only way that these people could get that information from us was to pick up the phone, call us, and work with us. And they had to have that information. Now, who has that information? Everyone. You don't need a license to get access to all of this information. You don't need to be a professional to get the information that buyers and sellers want. We in real estate have opened up the floodgates. We have given all of this data to people who want to get us out of the business and erode our commissions. And we've done it to ourselves. So what do we have to do? We have to band together. We have to gain new knowledge, new experience, new expertise, We have to deliver a different experience to our customers using newer techniques, newer technologies. We have to expand our promises that we're making to our customers, and we have to fulfill on that fiduciary responsibility that we all have to the customers. Otherwise, they are going to just believe we are like everybody else, and if we are like everybody else, well, then why in the world would they choose to work with anybody who doesn't offer the lowest price?
You sound like a businessman who once took his thriving real estate company and said, I don't want any more agents.
Well, last year, the president of our real estate brokerage walked in and quit. She said it was too hard, so she quit. And so that day, I went into the office and I sat down with all of our agents except for one. And I said, we're shutting down the brokerage, and what we're going to do is I'm going to help you find a broker who is right for you based on your personality and what you need from that broker. And then what we did is we opened up a new brand called Good Life Luxury that my wife and our friend Jennifer Goodman and I run. And now what we do is we simply sell luxury homes with our past clients and the people who live in our community. What this has allowed me to do is it has allowed me to really focus on that experience to the client. How do I continue to evolve and improve the experience that I'm offering to my clients so that I can continue to win these listings? And then what I do is I take everything that I'm learning and everything that my marketing team is doing on the real estate side to fulfill on those promises that I'm making, and we train all of our agents at Paperless Agent. And here is why: because I know that unless we get this word out there and unless we band together and unless we work together, we're not going to win this fight. And that is why we do what we do.
Well, let's pause for a moment and talk about a group that has banded together, and that's NAGLREP. During Pride Month, this month in June, NAGLREP will celebrate its 10th anniversary. Today, the organization continues to grow in size and scope with approximately 1,500 members and growing by the day. The membership benefits are many. Everyone gets a profile on NAGLREP.com, which receives 75,000 unique visits a month and is the leading referrer of LGBT clients. 90% of NAGLREP members close 1 to 3 deals a year through their membership, and 8% close 4 to 6 deals a year. You also get the networking with an extremely close-knit group of members and have tremendous learning opportunities like today's session with Garry. And of course, NAGLREP provides its members with the capability to showcase leadership with the ability to address LGBT housing issues at the local, state, and national levels. Listeners can join the organization at NAGLREP.com. Garry, you've talked about this potential onslaught. You've talked about trying to keep them at bay and grow the industry. Yet we have 1.2 million realtors. How do we do it? What does each individual agent owe to themselves and the industry to make sure we stay important for years to come?
Never stop learning. Never stop learning. And here is what I learned a long time ago when I was learning from somebody, and I finally realized, I'm like, something is wrong here. I'm trying to learn from this individual as a coach, and I'm not learning. And I didn't understand why. And here is a fundamental principle that my wife, Christina, taught me. If your coach, if your mentor, if the person that you're learning from is not outperforming you in whatever they're teaching you, it is time for you to fire them, and it is time for you to find somebody else. And that's why it is so important to know not just how people are marketing themselves when they're trying to educate you and coach you and train you, Ask them their real numbers. And in real estate, here's a real number you need to ask your coach or your educator or whomever you're learning or your broker. Is in real estate, our goal is to take care of families and make our own money so we can live a good life. So the question is this: how much money are you making? And if they're not making more than you are, and if they're not outperforming you, it's time to top grade. But never stop learning. And if you want to surround yourself with learning individuals, there's this principle, it's called co-ontogenic structural coupling. That is a biological term that says individual cells down at the cellular level, when they are coupled together, they become over 99.9% exactly the same. We are built of cells, and our cells biologically become 99.9 plus % the same as those people we surround ourselves with. So what I challenge you is surround yourself with those high-minded, learning people who are passionate about top grading, who are passionate about always outperforming. And I can share with you one of the places that you can do this is in the NAGLREP community. When I normally go and speak at conferences, I don't really attend sessions because it's the same speakers talking about the same thing over and over again. At NAGLREP, I sit in on these sessions because there's new thinking. There's evolved learning. And that community is a tight-knit community that refers business, that helps each other out, and is always open to teaching and uplifting one another so that we can all better ourselves together collectively.
For us to learn from someone who's been recognized by Apple, by Evernote, by Inman, by Realtor.com, by USA Today, the list goes on and on, you've definitely earned the acclaim that you've garnered in real estate, and we can't thank you enough for joining us. If I wanted to find you, Garry, how do I do it?
The easiest place to find me is going to be on Facebook. It's Garry Wise, and Garry is with 2 R's, and you're not going to find another one on Facebook.
Well, this has been just an incredible opportunity, Garry. Thank you again for joining us.
It has been my pleasure, and I can't wait to see you.
And this has been NAGLREP Success. Until next time, I'm David Cerroti.